Hello, folks. Thanks for joining me. Week 4, standard track. This is the intermediate and advanced class. I hope things are going well for all of you. And depending on when you're watching this, you're having a good Thanksgiving week. Yeah, hopefully you're staying safe and not hungry. I'm recording this over the weekend. So yeah, I haven't quite started my Thanksgiving break, but I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope everybody's starting to flow a little bit with this tune. Things are going well with you and you're figuring out, how to start to incorporate melody and lyrics. And also, I think the most challenging part, which is really, being able to switch roles, right? Being able to switch between that picking intro, especially if you're doing the advanced part, and then also moving into the strumming while you're accompanying yourself if you're singing and playing. Even the intermediate part, it has its challenges as well. But I was talking about this in the last class, beginner intermediate class. Really what you want to try to do is practice that transition as many times as you can, right? And so you want to think about really, kind of group it together. What exercise you want to try to do is sort of in the middle of the song when you use that intro as an interlude, and just think to yourself, play one full measure of C, play 2 beats on C, and then start the intro however you're playing it, if it's the advanced part or if it's the intermediate part. I'm going to use the intermediate part just as an example, but see if we can kind of create this exercise. So remember, you're playing one full measure of C and then 2 beats. 1, 2, go. Right? And then jumping straight into that picking part. And if it's the advanced part, it's and then 1, 2, go. Right? That transfer or that little moment is the thing I think you want to try and practice the most. So it doesn't feel like a surprise when it comes, right? A lot of times we can be flowing through a tune and then we're like, oh, wait, we're supposed to be thinking about what we're supposed to do next. And then suddenly the part's on us and we either have to stop our tempo or we're going to not be accurate with any of our techniques or our moves, right? So let's see if we can try it. I'll be using kind of both interchangeably, but if you can use the intermediate or you can use the advanced, okay? So nice and slow. Remember, 1 full measure and then 2 beats. 1, 2, ready, and full measure, and then 1, 2, intro. Practicing that transfer. 1 full measure and then 2 beats and go. Full measure, 2 beats. Last time, 2 beats. One thing I was noticing is whenever I was doing the advanced part, I was actually forgetting the up strum with the G7 when you move to fret 2. I was playing it just like the intermediate part, so I apologize about that. Yeah, you can see that exercise, right, of kind of a 4-measure exercise, 3-measure exercise. You're playing two measures of C before you transfer into it, and then right when you finish 2 measures of C and then you transfer into it. That's really what's going to give you the ability to be able to move through, to move over that little hump or that little, crux kind of part of the tune that I'm sure is going to be a challenge for everybody. I wanted to take a look a little bit at sort of the advanced picking part. That's what I wanted to spend kind of the big chunk of today's lesson thinking about. So I'll switch it over to here. And let's just take a look. I'm going to try and get it so it's all in one line. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So this is not including that little fill, that run before we get into the chorus. This is just kind of the intro picking part. Now, one thing I want you to pay attention to is the rhythm, right? The rhythm, if you look at all those are all 8th notes, right? 8th notes from left to right. So that sounds like and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, and 4, and 1, right? And that 1 was coming into next measure, measure 4. I just want you to pay attention to, in terms of rhythm, all of these should be even, right? Even if I was just playing this without any of the right notes, I still want it to sound just like this, right? 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 boom, beat, dun, 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 right? I want it to hit all of those eighth notes. So make sure you're analyzing that, you know exactly what it's supposed to sound like. So let's talk about the two left-hand shapes first. The first one that you're going to move to is this, 0037. This is a chord that we've been using a lot in the last few months, and this is a substitution for a C chord. The next one is a G7, 0535. It's a substitution for a G7, another voicing for it. One thing I want you to pay attention to is the shared note between these. See how my pointer finger is on the 3rd fret on the C string? If I just pivot into this, right, pinky down on 7, and then move into this, then what I've got is a nice connected way to flow through those two shapes, right? The last shape that we play before we move to the C chord is a G7. And you can see how, really, if I just shrunk this shape, see how it's a whole step apart? If I shrunk it to a half step, I already have my shape, right? So what you want to do is either shift that down and then slide, or you can shift down and then shift, right? Or you can do them both at the same time, which is eventually what you want to try to do, is contract the chord as you move it down, right? Let's see if we can try whole notes on each one of those. 0037, 0535, and then 0212, right? 1, 2, ready, whole notes. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, and let's finish on C. 2 more times like that. Ready? Now, remember, in this exercise, what we're doing is we're eliminating a lot of the noise. A lot of what's going on in terms of technique with the right hand, a lot of what's going on with the rhythm. We take all that away and we really just focus on what our left hand needs to do, right? This is really the way I think we're going to learn skills the fastest, most efficient way is if we focus on them. 4, and finish on C chord. So an exercise like that is really, really going to be helpful when it comes to internalizing those left-hand moves, right? I really, really encourage people to just identify what their left hand needs to do. And really, if you look at the picture, right, I mean, those pictures are all there. 0037, there's the picture above measure 1 after the pickup. And above measure 2, you have that version of G7. And then on the beat 4 of that measure, you have the next time you see a G7, which is kind of the more familiar shape. So that's the exercise, right? And really try and find these exercises for yourself in the future, anytime you're trying to learn any type of technical kind of move like this. All right, sweet. So now let's identify the rest of our moves in this little section. The first one is obviously the pickup. Now, one thing I want you to pay attention to is don't separate these two. As soon as you put your pointer finger down on 1, really, you want to be identifying the distance you need to go for the next shape. So if I'm on 1 here, if I was to make the shape, I'd be on 5 here, right? And you can see how my hands are already starting to space it, even as I start to play that first phrase. So I'm going, as soon as I put that pointer finger down and start to shift to 3, I'm already gauging that distance. My fingers can kind of feel it, right? So if I'm doing that move, right, it's da, da, da. And then as soon as I kind of move up, that's where you want to be in position into the next move. But if you can see on beat 1, you're actually playing the open G string. So it gives you a little extra time as you shift into that space, right? So if I'm playing it 1, 2, 3, right there, I'm into the shape, I've landed everything, and now I've just got to analyze what the picking pattern is. So if I look at the picking pattern is G, A, G, E, A, G, E, A. So I want you to know that even though that's not symmetrical, can you see that the last 6 beats are? So really I'm doing top, bottom, and now everything is just a repeat of this. Right? So it's G, A, G, E, A, G, E, A, right? Let's see if we can work on that together. 1, 2, ready, go. G, A, G, A, G, E, E, G, E, A. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, A, G, E, A, G, E, A. 1, 2, ready, go. G, A, G, E, A, G, E, A. If it's hard to hold this chord shape, you can always cover the strings and do the same thing. 2, ready, go. And G, A, G, E, A, G, E, A. 1, 2, last time, here we go. G, A, G, E, A, G, E, A. 1, 2, ready, and go. Thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, middle, pointer, 1, 2, last time, here we go. And so it's really important to analyze these moves and get them in loops like this, right? I'm just working one functional measure at a time. That way I don't have to, take up any of my mental energy thinking about what comes next. I can really just lap this as many times as I need to start to get it into muscle memory. So if I connect the two parts, remember I'm playing open, pointer finger here. And then remember, as I'm playing the G string, I'm shifting into 0037, finding that shape. And then I've just got to add that picking pattern, G, A, G, E, A, G, E, A. Yeah, let's see if we can put it together. They're just those two measures. Count to 3. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, ready, here we go. 1, 2, and go. 1, 2, and go. 1, 2, ready. Last time, 1, 2, ready. One feature that some people might not know about on YouTube, down at the bottom right corner, there's a little gear wheel. If you click on that, you can actually change the playback speed. And 0.75 will sometimes give you a good one. 0.5 and anything below sometimes gets a little bit degraded in audio quality. But for exercises like that, if you want to slow the tempo down, maybe see a little bit more what my fingers are doing, it can be helpful. But don't forget that information is also in the sound slice too, right? You can loop those sections, you can slow them down, you can blow the video up bigger, you can look just at the arrangement. There's a lot of functionality in there in terms of creating your own learning environment. Let's see if we can do a couple more laps of that, and then we'll look at what happens in the next measure. I'll put it up on the screen this time. 1, 2, first two measures. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, go. Last time, go. And remember, if you're having a bit of a challenge when taking on that exercise, you can always cover the strings so you don't have to worry about making that move. And then that's something you can add later to make it a little bit more challenging. So let's take a look at what happens in measure 2 of this piece. Now, obviously, we've got this shape, right? Let me see if I can. Oh, it didn't work. So we've got this shape, 0535, that we need to go to, right? We were working on those in whole note exercises. Make sure that this is what your left hand is locked into when you're doing this exercise. And you can always keep the strings open or cover the strings if you need to give that left hand a rest. So if we're looking at this measure here, now what we see is we're going to play C, A, G, E, A. Now, if, this might be hard to see unless you're looking kind of closely, but do you notice how 035, G string, E string, A string is actually the exact same pattern we were just working on in the measure before it, right? In measure 1, G, E, A, G, E, A. That's what we played. And so now all we're doing is instead of playing G and A before we do that, we're playing C and A, right? It's just an alteration, and it's really so we can hear that F note that's on, that F note that's on the 5th fret on the C string, right? But picking pattern wise, remember our hands are already going to start to feel comfortable with this if we've drilled the measure before it. Cool. So let's just work those two moves. C, A, then G, E, A, right? And hold this shape 0, 5, 3, 5, or cover the strings, either one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. C, A, G, E, A. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. G, A. I said the wrong notes, but or the wrong strings, but I played the right ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, A, G, E, A. Now let's see if we can put in a loop. 1, 2, 3, go. G, A, G, E, A, C, A. Right? Just identifying what those hands movements are, that's really what you want to practice, getting into and out of, right? Now, the next move we're going to do is we're going to play the G string as we're moving to a G7, which we're going to catch on the up strum, right? So and for and is going to sound like this, right? Holding a G7 chord and you play G string, up strum, G string. Or, you know, it can be just not a full up strum. It could just be the bottom 2 strings even. Think of it as down, up, down. That's what down, up, down. That's really going to be helpful too. Thumb, up, thumb, right? So this whole measure, if we kind of take it into account, it's going to go C, A, G, E, A, bum, G7, and then we hit the top string, right? Let's see if we can get a up close view of that. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, A, G, E, A, bounce up. 1, 2, ready, go. C, A, G, E, A, G, up strum, and then we bounce there. And let's go ahead and include where we're going to resolve to just to finish it off. 1, 2, ready, go. C, A, G, E, A, G, G. And I said G, but I meant G7. It's really hard to kind of figure out how to say what I'm trying to get you guys to do. But just know it's I like a bounce. That helps me a little bit because really what you're trying to do is fill in the sound between the time you're playing the chord, right? So it's C, A, G, E, A, bounce, chord, bounce, and then that. Cool? See if we can try it. 1, 2, ready, go. C, A, G, E, A, bounce, chord. 1, 2, ready, go. C, A, G, E, A, bounce, chord, bounce, and then hitting on that chord. Cool. Let's do it this time with it up. 1, 2, ready, and C, A, G, E, A, bounce, chord, bounce, and then we're rolling to the C chord. Last time. 1, 2, 3, and go. And C, A, G, E, A, bounce, chord, bounce, and rolling to that C. Cool? All right, team. I'll give you guys about 10, 15 seconds to review all your moves. I'll just kind of walk through it myself. Now I shift, and remember that move is really important. 7, keep your pointer finger where it is. Drop your middle and your ring. And now you do that slight alteration on the picking pattern. C, A, G, E, A, bounce, chord, bounce. And then we resolve there. Okay, let's try it nice and slow, the whole thing. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, go. Remember, if that's too fast, you can always slow the tempo down a little bit. 0.75, try that speed. And 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, go. Switch. Chord. Resolve to that C. And 1, 2, go. Switch. I don't know. Actually, let's go ahead and switch to this angle and try it once. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, go. Three, 4, and 1, 2, last time. Before I switch that camera angle, I'm not sure if any of you guys noticed, but I actually played all the wrong strings. When I switched to that G7 chord, the 0535 chord, I actually started on the top string instead of starting on the C string. But if you didn't notice it, that's because I sort of followed the rule that keep going, right? My tempo actually didn't fluctuate enough to make it feel like a mistake. And what I want you guys to know is that fingerpicking in general, remember, all it really is an arpeggio. An arpeggio is taking a chord when all of these voices are supposedly happening at the same time, that harmony, and it's just individualizing each of those. And so anytime you think about picking patterns, anytime you think about maybe kind of runs like this, then what you want to think about is that as long as I'm holding the right chord shape, then I'm going to end up with the right result, even if I have some inaccuracy and I hit the wrong string, right? Now, obviously, you want to try and pick up on the pattern, but I just want you to know that even if there is a mistake, try to keep your flow going, right? The mistake was instead of going on hitting the C string, I hit the G string, but those were both downward motions. They were on the downbeat, and then I followed them up with an upward motion with my picking. And so it didn't really feel like a mistake, right? That's what I want you to pay attention to is anytime you're holding all of the right chord shape, whenever you're finger picking, it's really hard to make a mistake because you're actually outlining the correct chord, the correct harmony. Cool. Let's see if we can try it one more time. We'll try it one more time with this view. 1, 2, 1, 2, go. That time I did it right. Let's try a little faster. 1, 2, go. 2, 3, last time. 1, 2, go. 2, 3, speed it up. 1, 2, go. 2, 3, last time. 1, 2, go. 2, 3, and just for fun, we'll go one more time, a lot faster. 1, 2, go. 2, 3, last time. 1, 2, go. Cool. So those last few rounds were obviously faster than even the tempo that I have on Sound Slice. So, but I would say this is that if you can play it at that speed, then you know you can play it at a sort of more sane, more manageable tempo when you're flowing through the whole song. Let's see. Those are the things that's the part that I really wanted to focus on was that intro. Now, remember that exercise of sort of jumping from strumming into that picking pattern. I'm going to do it one more time just to refresh your memory, but that's really what you want to practice. As soon as you get that picking down, we all know you can strum the chords really well. Then just put a C chord in front, 2 beats, and then try and start on that picking pattern, whether it's the intermediate or it's that advanced that we've been working on. Let's just remind you the exercise. 1, 2, 3, full measure. And then 2 beats. 1, 2, go. Right? That's the exercise. Just loop, loop, loop. Let's do it 3 times in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. C. And 2 beats. Oh, I'm sorry, I was supposed to strum. 1, 2, go. And 2 beats. 1, 2, go. the exercise with the more challenging kind of version. Oh, I know what I wanted to work on today. It's going to be basically the next measure. We actually haven't talked about this at all, so I do want to include it. And that's looking at measure down. It's really just this measure that I want to kind of look at. So let me see if I can zoom it in, make it a little bigger. It's right there on the right. So we've got a dotted quarter, 1, 2, and then we've got to play, right? If I include the C chord on the next beat. One of the things that you'll see is the moves themselves, right? The moves themselves, 0, 1, 3, and then 3rd fret here, and then back to the E string. Now, this is one of those places where I've showed you guys a couple different options for this. One is a C chord with the middle finger on the 3rd fret on the E string. The other is a pinky on the 3rd fret on the A string, and then a ring finger here. That's sort of the chord shape you need to know how to play, right? So you go from a C, and then you play this melody. Right? You can play open E string, 1st fret, 3rd fret, to the A string, back to the E string, and then you resolve to there. Cool? 2. That's how it sounds. Let's see if we can play that melody. 1, 2, ready, go, and chord, 2. 2, again. 4, and go, 2. 2, and go, 1, 2. Remember, it's on the off beat after 2, so it's like 1, 2. Bum, bo, da, 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 da. Now let's take a look at a little bit of the details here. One of them is that there's a little curvy line. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there's a little curvy line right. This is the wrong measure. There's a little curvy line right here between the E and the F. So that just indicates a slur. And in this case, we're going to be playing a hammer-on. Now, if I'm looking at my left hand and right hand together, what hammer-on is basically playing once with the right hand and then creating a second note with my left hand. Now, hammer-ons are one of those things. They just take time. I like to think about it like this. What you want to do is try to keep the vibration going. And in the best case scenario, you want to actually create just a touch more vibration after you push down on that. Now, one tendency people seem to have when they're trying to do hammer-ons is to try and rush. Remember, those are each an eighth note, so it's 1 and, right? Make sure that first note has its breath. So dropping through the string, hammering on. Just like that. Now, if I add that to the melody, that's how it's going to sound. 0, hammer on, and then play the 3rd fret. And remember, each of those has the same duration. 0, hammer, 3, like that. Now, if I'm here, then if my pinky's on the 3rd fret on the A string when I do it, now I just need to go to the A string, E string, and then resolve to a C chord. Cool? So that's the whole move kind of together. Let's see if we can try it in time now. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and chord. Second beat. 2, 3, 4, and chord. 2. 2. Ready, and a chord. 2. Nice, cool. So remember, we are doing this whole measure here. Oops, that didn't work out well. Down to here. So those are the measures. That's the measure we're working on. 1, 2, ready, and a chord. 2, 2, 3, and chord. 2. There it is. Cool. let's talk about this in the context of the actual whole picking intro. So really what this is replacing for the beginner and intermediate part when you're coming into the rhythm to strum. You're just waiting an extra measure in the advanced part and doing this little, almost like a, I don't know, what's the word? It's almost like a flourish on the C chord, right? It's adding this little melodic lick into it and making it sound nice and pretty, give us a nice little transfer. So what happens is you play through the entire intro. 2. And you guys saw how I chose to use my pointer fingers to play that melody. Of course, you don't need to. You can use your thumb, right? You can go as you finish. 2. Thumb works there, but for me, since I'm already in a picking position, and since I used to play bass as well, my pointer fingers and middle finger kind of work well together playing melody. So that's what I'm going to choose. Let's see if we can add that to the intro. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, go. Here we go. Remember, 2 beats, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, go. 2. Try with my thumb this time. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, go. 2. So just like before, remember, the thing I want to try to practice if I don't want any surprises through that whole thing is just adding that to the intro and then strumming a full measure of C, 2 beats, and then starting it over again. If that is my whole loop, then I'm really, sorry, the light is changing like crazy in here. Then I'm really sure of myself that I'm practicing the transition and gaining a lot of fluidity and a lot of confidence as I move through those parts. Remember, you don't want anything to feel like a surprise. And if it does, you're probably going to trip up on it, especially when it comes time for uke social or just in your playing in general, right? Okay, cool. Let me see if I can kind of show you the exercise. Remember, full measure of C with the strum, and then we're going to full measure of C with the strum, and then we're going to do 2 beats and then start the intro, including that little lick, and then see if we can start cycle over. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, C. And 2 beats, 1, 2, go. 2. Full measure of C. 2 beats. 1, 2, and 2. 2 beats. 1, 2, go. 2. Last time. 1, 2, go. 'Cool. I'd ask you guys if you have any questions, but obviously I can't answer them if you do. So if you do have any questions, post them into Slack. I would love to see comments and questions in the Slack feed, or you can email me if anything's confusing or you need some more clarification. Otherwise, guys, thanks so much for all your hard work this month. Yeah, I can't believe it's about to be December, and then hopefully 2021, we're just going to be kicking it off, and it's going to be a lot better for all of us than it's been this year. So please take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys on Monday for Uke Social, 6 to 7:15 on November 30th. All right, guys, bye.